Hi, everyone. My name is Bruce Lombardo, and we are watching today a girl, a guy, and a movie worth our review for Hercules in New York. How you doing, Janet? How are you today?
Uh-oh. I got it turned off.
What's wrong?
Sorry, I had it turned on the other thing when I was setting it up.
Okay.
I was hearing double, so I
Oh,
turned it off.
well, today we watched a 1970 released movie,
Mhm.
filmed in 1969, an amazing film with a no absolute cast of stellar people and this little nobody from Austria who later
Mhm.
became a big star. And I've got to say, I had a lot of fun watching this student film from uh, from Arnold Schwarzenegger. This was a really good movie. Janet, have you
Yeah.
ever heard of this movie before?
No,
No.
I've never heard of it until you guys said you guys wanted to watch it. And I was like, what is it? And when you told me it was his first movie, I thought it was another. There was another movie they did, like Conan or something, was his first movie.
No.
I didn't know, but yeah, it was. He was young in it. It was like what, 22?
22 when you filmed this movie.
So yeah, he was young, and you could tell he was already into the bodybuilding. But uh, yeah, he wasn't as well greased as an actor yet. But
Oh,
I thought he did pretty good considering.
yeah, I thought he did great,
Keanu
actually.
Reeves, remember the movie we did, and he was in it, Dangerous Liaisons.
Yes.
And Keanu was young like that too in his first movie, or I think that was his first movie, wasn't it?
Hmm. I believe
And
it was his
he
first
was
movie.
kind of quirky too, but he had a
It,
small part. This was a
either,
lead part for
yeah,
Arnold,
this
and
was his lead.
honestly, he did a pretty good job considering it was his first
For
movie.
him never having actual camera experience, his
Mhm.
agent lied and said he has
I know, I saw that.
years of stage experience. Yeah, bodybuilding stages.
Hmm.
Never done any stage experience before. Never did a play. I'm going to be Hercules in New York.
Yeah, but he said in one of the things I was reading that when his agents told him that when they put him in for this movie to get the part, he said that, well, yeah, he's been on stage, but it just happens that he was just doing, showing off his muscles. He wasn't acting. He was just, posing and stuff. So, he fibbed. I would say he fibbed more than lied because he just wasn't a stage actor. But the people in the movie, a lot of them, I would say, they got them. The reason it was so cheap, they were able to get them cheap, is because they were Broadway, background play people, people from the plays, the little theaters and stuff around New York, because they acted like they were from theater. I thought came
Yeah,
across.
this feels like a student film or a middle play, a middle budget play. It really does
Yeah.
act like a middle
Hmm.
budget play.
Hmm.
Six Nation 31 Kings, one of our friends, watched it with us, laughed, I cried. It was best of times, it was worst of times. Well worth the price of admission. Definitely a top pick for good, bad cinema.
Hmm.
And my worst Ricky Ricardo impersonation. Disney, you got a lot of explaining to you to do. Yeah, there.
Hmm.
He was mentioning that there's a Hercules film from the '90s, an animated one, and this movie kind of rips off every fucking aspect of it. It really,
Yeah.
it it really does.
What do you
Sorry,
mean? I thought this came out before that one.
it did. They pulled about every plot point off this movie.
Oh, from
So
this movie and put it in the other one. Is that what you're
Disney
saying? Okay.
Disney did
That
what
makes
Disney
sense.
does, and what Disney does is they will grab something popular or something that's from like long ago that nobody remembers, and they rip it
Mhm.
off, like the Little
Mhm.
Mermaid or Cinderella or a little story called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. They
Mhm.
completely bastardize these stories, these classics that were classic stories by Grimm, and
Mhm.
they turn them into miserable fucking family fare, which I can't. I don't mind the Disney cartoons, but I really wish at the start of the Disney cartoon it would say this has been modified from the original legend and lore that it was taken from. Please do not take this as canon. You know, if they would say that, it would encourage kids that are inquisitive to go read grim fairy tales, and they would get
Mhm.
the shit scared out of them. they would get absolutely blasted by what happens to Ariel in the end of The Little Mermaid. Spoiler alert, it's not happy. It's about old Yeller level of traumatic fucking stuff, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Disney does. They take a movie and they completely pervert the fuck out of it. And they did it with this movie. Fuck you, Disney. So, anyway.
But Disney didn't have anything to do with this one, did it?
Not in 1969 when they filmed it. No. Okay. They've completely, however, they've completely bastardized it for their own Legend of Hercules movies, though, and it's.
Oh yeah. But the writer who wrote this script for this, did she get credit or anything in any of the other movies that were made?
Aubrey Weisberg was the little writer that did this, and he was a writer and producer known for The Man from Planet X, Dragon's Gold, Port Sinister, and the last credit he has on his IMDb is the writing for Hercules in New York. For director, he did Dragon's Gold. Give me producer. Producer was Hercules in New York. Yeah, last thing Aubrey did before he retired in the 70s was Hercules in New York. He did other things. The Man from Planet X, he wrote that, which was a 1951 kind of a classic sci-fi film. It's not bad. It's like they call it a 5.7. I would actually say it's probably about a 3 out of 5, 60%, but it's not bad. I don't think he's got any credit from any Disney on his IMDb though. I see nothing but stuff that he made $300 at a time on. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, people get ripped off all the time, on social media, on in movies, on screenplays, on books, everything. They get stuff taken from them or plagiarized, and unless somebody has an expensive lawyer, nothing happens.
No, you need a super expensive lawyer to go against Disney.
Yeah, so I've seen that. I mean, like I told you that one time when I was down in New Orleans, there was a Will Smith was there with his entourage, and they were making some bad movie about a fake Super Bowl, being fixed or something, and people were betting on it or whatever. I don't remember. I knew some people that were in it, but I didn't have anything to do with that one. But at the time they were there, they were having a contest on screenwriting, scripts. And they were saying that if you put your script in, you could win $5,000, and Will Smith would probably be in one of your movies, or his son. I think that's what they said. And everybody kept telling me, a couple of my stories I'd written, they said, you need to put them in. I was like, nah. I read the paperwork, because they had like 5 pages for you to fill out. And in the fine print, it said that if later on there happens to be a movie that comes out that's similar or whatever towards yours, blah, 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 but you can't sue if you sign this paper. So I said, hell no, I ain't giving them my stuff, because the whole thing was a fishing expedition. It's like I said, you got all these big people in Hollywood that are friends with writers or whatever, and they write it, and then they remake it and they remake it and they remake it. They just keep remaking it because they don't want to bring in any new young writers that have their own vision. So they'll tell people, we want this and this is what we want. We want you to write it. That's why your writing shows and all those things seem to be going way downhill, because you're not getting any originality. You're only getting what the corporate people say. Okay, we want you to write a script about this, and then they're taking young people that aren't, getting paid big bucks, because once you have a hit movie, you can charge more for your scripts. So they don't want to pay it. And now they're going to probably just use AI to write it. They'll just have some people sitting around saying, oh, this is a good idea. Let's have an AI script writer, write it. And then they'll read it and they'll say, okay, let's make a few changes, but this is be a movie. And that's probably what's going to happen now. So all the screenwriters that was trying to get in are probably never going to get in now, unless they can get an independent movie made, which is what I'm hoping, because I thought when we went to the streaming stuff more and more independent companies would start making movies, and they would want young new screenplays, but I don't know, I haven't seen that much of it. We'll see. But this one I thought was a pretty good script. I thought the story was pretty good. It just was very low budget, you know.
Yeah, it feels like
Story
it's
wasn't
low budget.
stupid. Yeah.
Story was good. I thought the
Mhm.
story was good. I actually liked the actor for Zeus, and I liked what I saw with the.
Oh, I liked him too. He was great. I thought he was.
I liked Arnold Stang. I thought Stang played really great, but Schwarzenegger, he's a little wooden, and
Mhm.
that's kind of what you get. I mean, he's a 22-year-old. He has no idea what to do. He's doing this shit for the first time, and I'm going to forgive his performance on it. We know that he's not, Macbeth quality, but he's
Mhm.
pretty good for what he provides.
Mhm.
And I thought this movie was actually pretty enjoyable. I liked his performance because he acted like a young Hercules would act. I mean, he
Yeah, he
acted,
acted like he had no clue what to expect by humans,
yeah,
by being in the big city and what kind of things were going on. Now he was smitten by the beautiful young professor's daughter. I mean, what was her name? Deborah Loomis, the actress,
mhm,
and her name was Helen Camden on the
yeah,
movie. But she was really pretty, and she looks a little familiar to me, but I can't picture what I
Dark
saw her in.
Shadows. I know exactly where you
Dark
saw her from.
Shadows,
She was
the
on Dark
soap opera,
Shadows. What?
the soap opera.
The soap opera of the 70s.
Okay,
I know
because
exactly where you saw her at. She was in that
yeah,
show.
my mom liked Dark Shadows. Believe it or not, I think she watched it with my grandmother.
Nothing surprises me anymore.
So
Okay. After I was forced to watch G.I. Jane and realized that that's some of the best science fiction ever, but nobody gives it any credit for science fiction.
mm,
Everybody says,
I
"Oh,
didn't
it's a
think it was
children's
science
movie."
fiction, but I thought it was good. It was a
It's
good
science
movie.
fiction. The way that everybody acted in that movie, that was science fiction. That
Well, I thought the whole thing with the senator and everything was what we're going through right now. They're wheeling and dealing with our
yeah,
money.
yeah. I
So
mean, that
that's
part there,
reality.
they borrow a little bit from real life, but the way
Mhm.
that everybody else acted, the way that they shortened the fucking Buds program for 2 years, uh, down to like weeks. The fact that
Mhm.
they gave a lieutenant a map and a radio, and she's trying to coordinate grids, and she's unable to fucking do it because she's going to be busy hyperventilating, perfectly like real life. This is what happens when you give a lieutenant a map and a fucking radio. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
That movie
Well,
is I will continue to kick that horse.
I know you said the same thing about a few of the movies I've picked, so that's okay.
It's okay. I picked some stinkers too, but I'm just saying that, like, I really like this movie here. I'm not gonna kick because it was for $300,000. It's got the professionalism of, like, you got a guy that he's got one shot to make a movie, and he's like, "Fuck it, we're not gonna worry about sound editing or sound mixing. We're gonna have as I got a fucking coffee maker behind me, and we've got to film this in Central Park. So have the music playing so it'll drown out all the honks and shit on the street nearby on West 57th. And let's not even worry about the change of camera cuts and do the color correction or anything. This movie, it's a good film for what it is. It's
Mhm.
not very much. You're not.
Yeah, it had the feel had a feel of an indie movie, an independent movie with very low budget. All the actors were like new. Okay, everyone seemed fresh. Like you didn't they didn't know. They weren't snotty and snooty or whatever. They just seemed fresh, like they were young and
Yeah.
uh, uneducated in when it came to making a movie, basically. Even the director, because some of the angles that he used, they were a little off kilter, because normally you get really good headshots, but a lot of them were looking up at the actors or looking down at them, things like that. The views were a little different and awkward. The choice of the score, I thought, was the worst part of the movie. That was the hardest thing for me, because if you could take the score completely out and put something better music in, I think it would up the movie through a few points, because the score was just bad. But I loved this. I thought the story was good. I mean, it had a point of view for character arcs. And when it came to Olympus, it had all the general people that you normally would see, you know, in Olympus when you read any of the stories, and the good and bad between them, and them bickering with each other and all that stuff, because they all think their shit don't stink, you know, but all of them are afraid of Zeus. And so they try to go behind his back and do things to get to needle each other, that type of thing. So all of that was, you know, what I was expecting when it came to a movie about Zeus and his goddesses and stuff. So I thought that was really good. And then the way that they would, it was so funny when Mercury got to go to Earth, and he was so sharply dressed, you know, compared to what Arnold Schwarzenegger's character had when he showed up on Earth, you know, just little things like that I thought were, you know, cute for the movie. They definitely tried to fill in the gaps in a lot of areas, from what I could tell.
I don't understand why people don't like this. This is so sophisticated. I don't know why people don't like that.
Oh, I don't think it was sophisticated. I mean, it was I don't know. I don't know what their budget was for like, you know, getting it out there for people to see. Did it go straight to VHS or something like that?
It was released in theaters.
It was in theaters? Okay,
It was
so
in
I didn't
theaters.
know.
The movie poster you see is part movie poster that was hacked up from this movie, and then they put some other stuff in there that was common for science fantasy movies, like a monster there and all that crap. But you that was an actual movie poster that was actually from this film, and they kind of diced it up a bit, and then they had Arnold act of, you know, oh my God, why is this guy trying to pretend to be me? You know, it's very charming.
That was kind of funny. I thought that was kind of funny, but that's not
so much charm to it. I don't understand. Like, Schwarzenegger is excessively butthurt about this movie. Yes, he's been living with it for the past 54 years. And he says, IMDb has it that if you talk to him about this movie, the interview's over. If he's asked to comment about this movie, the discussion's over. And
well, it's because it was his worst movie. Because it was his first one, it was low budget, and he just doesn't want to be reminded of it. You know what I mean? Everyone has something like that. You know, you had that video that leaked out of you throwing up all over the people's house, you know, from the drunk night, and you don't even remember it, but everybody's laughing about it and sharing it. You wouldn't want it.
Or the night that I was at a fundraiser and I was walking around on a stage trying to introduce people, and I had anal toe with the shitty pants I had on. Not shitty, but I had anal toe. Like sometimes, like women will walk around in the yoga pants. They got camel toe. I had anal toe. Nobody told me. Untuck your pants.
Yeah, but see, you wouldn't want that aired every single time you went to something. You know, them talking about why were you in this movie? Why, you know, so I mean, fine, you go to first thing when I first typed it in, because I was trying to find out what they were wearing and stuff, so I could try to come up with an idea for a costume, right? And when I first typed it in, what popped up first was the ratings they got from IMDb and you know, Rotten Tomatoes. I was going, oh my God, I have to watch this movie, because this is right before, you know, before we were going to watch it. I hadn't seen it before, and it was a 3.3 for IMDb out of 10, and then 14% at Rotten Tomatoes. I was like going, oh my God, this is not going to be good. But I was surprised, because it is not the worst movie I've ever seen, for sure.
I'm just going to say something here. You know, I think a lot of men would agree with me on this. I could have a 6.5 woman at home as a wife. And if she's able to cook, clean, and, you know, do the things I want, and she's respectful, you know, she knows how to do proper firearm safety, I'm a pretty happy man, and I'm living that life.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very happy with that. A lot of people think that, you know, you got to have an 8 or, you know, at least a 9, you know, sleeping in bed next to you. You don't. There's a fuck ton of movies on IMDb that are rated a 4.5 and above that I've spent over 12 hours of my life watching in repeated format on beta, on VHS, on cable. one of my favorite movies of all time is Band of the Hand, which we will eventually watch and do commentary on, because it's
I've
got some.
never heard of that one either.
It's a Michael Mann movie. You're not going to, unless you're going to do a Miami Vice shoot or something. Then you'll be
Yeah.
like, okay, what the fuck is Michael Mann? Let me go back here. Oh, this is his first kind of thing he was doing while he was involved with Miami Vice. Okay, his side project, and you have that. But there's a lot of movies on IMDb that critics or audiences really didn't appreciate. Bruce will fucking have those on in the background and just watch the shit out of them. I love those. I love those movies. And this guy gets it. Six Nations gets it. This film is a diamond in the rough. And this movie was made for $300,000, and it does the Hercules franchise and name better than what Disney does. It does it completely well.
What movies came out at the same time as this one? Do you have a list?
I'll go
see what it had to compete against, because but you got to remember, at the time this movie came out, was it 70 something?
1970.
1970. Okay.
1970.
See, I was thinking it was 1980s, and I kept saying, God, these women's hair don't look like they're from the 80s. But you got to remember, Arnold Schwarzenegger was nobody. Nobody knew who he was. He was still just a guy that was going to shows, trying to get, Mr. Universe or whatever they go for when you're doing bodybuilding, right? So, and he was from what I could look up, he was a bricklayer. Him and a roommate, a friend of his that was a bodybuilder too. That's what they did for a living. So in between that, they would try to get, other jobs like, modeling or catalog work, or trying to get into little bits of acting for commercials or whatever else. But it's kind of hard for someone who's huge like Arnold Schwarzenegger to get an acting job. There has to be a specific type of character needed. Like if it was a boxing movie or a movie about wrestling or any other kind of sport, you could see that he would probably be chosen because of, his build and everything. Now, we got to remember too, he has an accent. So I'm sure that hurt a lot especially when you're putting in for movies in America, unless the movie leans to, there was a European that's coming in or whatever, that type of thing. So it limited him a lot on being able to get into the movie.
Here's the movies that I'm seeing that were released in 1970. You have Airport, Angels Die Hard.
Airport was a big movie, wasn't it?
It was 10 nominations.
Yeah,
for Oscar. Then you have Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Valley of the Dolls, Bigfoot with John Carradine. You have Bloody Mama. You have Colossus: The Forbidden Project, which is not a good movie. You have this is listed alphabetically. I'd rather have it done monthly, but they have it alphabetically. 5 Easy Pieces with Jack Nicholson and Karen Black. Fools with Jason Robards. You had Honeymoon Killers with Shirley Stoller and Doris Roberts.
Yeah.
House of Dark Shadows with Jonathan Frid and Grayson Hall. It was based on the TV series. You have I Love My Wife with Elliot Gould and Angel Tompkins, Dabney Coleman. We just lost.
Most of these movies, I have no idea what they are. So it's all right.
Here's one I know you should know. It's Kelly's Heroes with Clint Eastwood, Telly Savalas, Don Rickles, Carol O'Connor, and Don Sutherland.
I haven't seen that one, but I have heard about it. My mom liked Teddy Savalas.
Okay. The Man from Orgy with Robert Walker and Louisa Mortiz. It's a comedy. Whenever you have the chance to see movies and you see a thing, The Man from Orgy, you're like, oh, I want to see this because I'm a pervert. I'm 13 years old.
Yeah.
It's
I can
not
see why.
Monty Walsh with Lee Marvin and Jack Palance. That's not a bad movie. It's a good Western. Let's see. Patton with George C. Scott came out.
Oh, yeah. That was a huge winner of awards.
Huge movie. Huge movie.
Was that the same month as this one?
That's
what I was hoping.
February was when this was released.
When you're going against certain huge movies, it's going to be really hard for you to get people to spend their money at your movie when they're spending it at this other one, because everyone's saying, "Oh my God, you got to see this movie." So
Patton
you're
was
saying,
in
"Well, I only
theaters.
have this much money," you know.
Patton was in theaters on the 5th of February. Hercules in New York came out on the 20th of February. Private Life of Sherlock Holmes came out.
Mhm.
Pussycat, Pussycat, I Love You with Ian McShane and Anna Calder Marshall. Rio Lobo with John Wayne, Jorge Rivero, and Jennifer O'Neill came out. You had some really good movies, some solid 3 and 4 star movies that came out in 1970. One of my
Mhm.
favorites, Tora 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 with Jason Robards. I mean, if you don't like Tora Tora Tora, I don't
I
know.
haven't seen that one. It's a war movie, right?
Yeah,
Okay, I haven't seen it. Sorry.
five Oscar nominations. It's a great fucking movie. Two Mules for Sister Sarah with Clint Eastwood and Shirley MacLaine.
Oh, my mom loved that movie. I think I remember because that's like what's her name, Shirley MacLaine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then you have the documentary for Woodstock came out in 1970 with Jimi Hendrix, Jefferson Airplane, Joe Cocker, my favorite inebriated singer of all time is Joe Cocker. I love watching Joe Cocker on stage when he's not doing well. I love watching John Belushi's impersonations of Joe Cocker. It fit so well. I'm sorry. So that's just those were the films that came out in 1970. So you had a really good set of films that came out. Oh, here's a list for when everything came out. Marooned. Marooned came out in 1970 and reached #1 in its 17th week of release. That was such a different film. And you had Richard Crenna and Gene Hackman, 3 astronauts who were trapped and suffocating in space. Good movie. Fucking just Airport, when it came out, it returned to #1 after 8 weeks of being released. I mean, a lot of these films have what I call the Jesus syndrome, which 2004 we had the Passion of the Christ, which that movie was released right before Easter. Easter was coming up, but yet every church in America drove its parishioners to go see this movie. Like the churches paid to go see this movie. Not that
Yeah.
private people didn't, but like you had some other things happen, and then there was probably the best zombie film I've ever seen, Dawn of the Dead, the remake, where they're in the mall from 2004. That came out, and the zombies beat up Jesus at the box office. But then the weekend of Easter comes around, and here comes all those church fans back in time for celebrating Easter. Let's go see Jesus again. And
Somebody's talking to you in the chat.
Okay.
He said, he's asking you how you've been.
Hey, Steve Iris Terrence, one of the most outspoken and good critics of comic media and popular fantasy media out there. Hello, T Virus Terrence. How are you today, sir? But this is a fantastic set of movies for 1970. Yeah, T Virus Terrence has been really successful with YouTube, and YouTube has kind of tried to give him a black eye. And watching his responses, imagine having thousands of followers and YouTube doesn't allow you to have monetization. Well, T Virus been around and he's like, you know what? I'm going to find a way. If you guys like me, I'll find a way that you can donate. I'm not asking or begging for money. I'm going to be myself. If you guys like it, great. If not, there's 40 million other people you can go watch. This guy's awesome.
That's right.
He's an actual.
I just didn't recognize his name. I haven't seen him in the chat that I've recognized before.
He watched me quite a bit. Not quite a bit. About 6 years ago, we intersected a lot, and he.
That was before I was here.
Yeah, so, like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah. So
welcome.
I'm glad you stopped in to say hello.
But I'm going to ask Janet, what do you, when you see this movie with Schwarzenegger, the Hercules in New York, what was the original thinking that you had the first like 10, 15 minutes in the movie?
Well, But okay, I'll be honest. When we first started the movie, I was, not trying not to put anything on it, just knowing that it was, you had told me that it was Arnold's first movie. So I wasn't expecting his acting to be top notch. And I didn't know who else was in it. And so I expected, this kind of dress, and stuff on the people in the start for sure. Because if he's in Olympus, he's going to be dressed, like the other gods and stuff, right? But when the music came on, I started going, "Oh no, this movie's not going to be good," because I thought the music was really bad. I thought the score for this whole movie was not very good at all. I think that maybe it's because it was cheap. That was the cheapest they could get. You know what I mean? They low standards on the music, but after it started and we got to see, I giggled a little bit and laughed a little about the whole Olympus thing, because I could hear cars honking in the background and they had the bird sounds really loud, little things like that. But and then the acting of the surrounding people, the Zeus actor did really good. And the woman that played his wife, she did pretty good. And there was one other woman that I thought did pretty good. But when it came to the other people around him, they seemed like they went straight to like Broadway or something, to the small theaters, the little ones where students would probably be, and it said, "Hey, you want to be in our movie?" So they pretty much handed out cards, and they, when they probably showed up, and whoever the casting person was would, ask them a few questions or whatever. And that's how they got the people. Now, I'm not saying they were terrible, but you could tell they were very dry. They were like, they acted like they were from a play. A lot of them talked and spoke the way you would in a play. So that's why I assumed that's probably where they got some people. But I laughed. I thought it was good, though, considering they had was like they filmed it in a continuous, and they had no film stage, nothing like that. And so it was all done. Just they set everything up, and it's impossible if you're on a low budget to go around and shut down 3 blocks away from you. You know what I mean? Like you could a big blockbuster movie. So you could hear honking goes a long direction. I remember one set we were on, and it was on at a zoo, and you could hear the flamingos making all kinds of noise. There was nothing you could do about it because, you can't shut birds up. So you just have to deal with stuff like that. But I thought it was funny because it was supposed to be an adventure comedy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm glad it made it into a comedy, because there was a lot of things that I thought were really funny in it. And that was to me, the Olympus stuff was the most entertaining for this movie. I really enjoyed all of those characters and the way they interacted on Mount Olympus. I thought it was great. So it was entertaining for sure.
The way they stood at Mount Olympus, I could tell a lot of them were theater actors because of just how they position themselves and how they acknowledge their target or their subject of who they're speaking to, but they also acknowledge how the camera is, and they just all seem like they were just a little on a wooden side, but they did pretty well. I mean, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for a story that I can chew popcorn and watch it and be entertained by. And this movie, at the end of the day, this is a fantastic movie to watch with a bucket of popcorn, because you're getting the story of Hercules defying his father and going to Earth, or being exiled to Earth, however you want to look at it, and then his father bringing him back, and those two will have a healing of a sort. And for what this was a fantastic, cute little movie.
I liked the way that they interacted, especially the more experienced actors when they were in the Olympus parts. I liked the way that they bantered each other and stuff. They had good chemistry, I thought. It livened up the scenes that way, but also it added a little hint of comedy because of the way they sneered at each other, and he'd raise his eyebrows and just little things like that, and he would snap at them. I just thought it was funny, and I think that's why I thought it was more entertaining than it would have been if they hadn't used anything like that. If they'd had it more like I don't know, boxed in like in a room. You know what I mean? I like the fact that you could see the sky and you could hear birds singing, and they had the big trees and the ivy all around and his beautiful throne and all that. I just thought it was very campy, but I guarantee you when the camera wasn't on, they were laughing and probably drinking a little and having a good time. So I could definitely tell that I would love to have been able to, just hang out on that set. I bet it was a lot of fun. Now, I don't think I would have liked the New York scenes and stuff where they were walking down the street and all that stuff, because you could tell the camera guy was, and that's one thing too. You could tell they definitely had to go really low on getting camera people because the angles and things that they used was not the best. You know what I mean? You could tell it was like a student film is what I kept looking at. It was like something you would see at some of these festivals where they have contests, like in acting school, that you don't have the very best actors because they're all learning. They have to act and do something before they can be graded and say, well, you need to work on this thing, you need to do that type of stuff. But this seemed like when you go into to class to be taught how to be a director or a casting agent or the different aspects about putting a movie together, and they get a team and you grab your team and you go out and you have to write a script, you have to get your actors and film your stuff, edit it, and then bring it back, and then the rest of the students all watch it, just like you're going to watch theirs, and then you critique it, that kind of thing. That's what this seemed to me. It seemed like a student film. But the script was good. I thought the script was good. If they had taken it and had a big budget with it, it could have been a really good movie. I mean, I thought that movie, it kept reminding me of that one movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger came out of the screen. What was that? Action Hero or something like that?
Action Hero was that.
Yeah, it reminded me a little of that. I don't know why, but there was, I guess, because I'd seen all of these other movies before that. Just like I said, the scenes where the little geek is chasing him around, it reminded me of the movie Twins. It just seemed there was little things that it reminded me of because I'd seen them already. See, but if you'd seen this way back when, these are all no ones. You wouldn't know hardly anyone. There was like, 2 or 3 actors in it that you might have seen in other things. I'm trying to look at their names real quick. The guy that played the TV announcer, his name was, where is he? Oh, darn, I'm so bad at finding stuff. Here it is, Richard Hurd. Mm-hmm. And when I saw his face, I'm like, oh, he looks really familiar. And then when I looked him up, I was like, okay, I've seen him in a lot of things. So there was different people in this that you would recognize, but they were smaller actors. They weren't like huge stars or anything like that until now. Later on, they've been in a lot more things, but that's what it seemed like to me. It had the feel of a student film, but it's like I told you when I first started, I said, indie movies are my favorite. I love movies that don't have an agenda. They're just trying to tell you the story, like Wind River, movies like that, movies that have a story that they're trying to tell, but it's not a agenda driven where they're cramming something down your throat. Just like you said, when you said you hated G.I. Jane, you felt like it was agenda driven. See, I didn't see it that way because I watched it when I was younger, and that's not how I saw it. I saw that women have to ask and make sure that if we're going to go out for a man's job, that we need to make sure that we get the same training and they don't lower the standards for us. That's how I saw the movie. You didn't see it that way at all, but I did. And I still feel the same way when I watch it because of the agenda of the movie was if a woman wants to be a fireman or police officer or whatever job, they shouldn't lower the standards for her to have that job. And I agree with that sentiment. So that's why I liked the movie. I thought it was perfect for the point of view that I was trying to get. So that's how I looked at this one. It was a student film.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I view this as well, because this feels it is an amateur film, especially for what we're used to with Schwarzenegger. But Arnold Stang is in this movie, and he performed so well. I love.
He was funny.
I love seeing him in the various films, and he was a voice actor for cartoons for a long time too. But I love seeing him in his element, and he just feels like he was just having fun throughout the entire filming process, because it didn't look like he was ever in a stressed moment. He was just playing the character, going from event to event, following around this big goofy fella. And what do you mean you don't have money? You know, that was the part that when they have that discussion with the cabbie, I had a good laugh. I was trying not to turn on my microphone too much while we're watching it, but I was just having way too much fun getting immersed and just pretending like, oh yeah, that's Hercules. He has no idea what money is here. You know,
Yeah, I heard you
I know
laughing
he
a
is.
lot, and it made me laugh
I
because I knew you
know
were enjoying it.
I know they have money in Greece. I know they have dinero, they have or lira, whatever it is that they
Mhm.
exchange. And so he knows what it is, but he's he's not from here, and so he's not gonna act like, oh yeah, well, I have an idea of why you use this. No, he's not gonna do that. He's gonna try to get away and like, no, let him pay for it. He's from here. I love that. I love their dynamic together. And
Mhm.
as silly and as campy as it was, this would be perfect if like this was the movie you watched after you watched like a 1967 Batman episode. That was the
Yeah.
level of camp this has.
I like the way that they portrayed, they got Arnold to do the whole thing at the thing they were doing for the practices at the college campus. And when he was watching them do it, and the little guy, his little friend Pretzel, is that what he called him?
Pretzi.
Pretzel. Okay, Pritzy
Mhm.
was talking to him. "Oh, you can't go in there. Those are professionals." And he was like looking at him like, I just thought he did a really good job at portraying someone that has no concept of understanding I can do anything I want. I'm Zeus's son, a spoiled brat, basically. And that's what he was there. That's why it was funny to me, the concept of saying Zeus saying no, not don't go, I don't want my son to go. But to me, him being 22, that Zeus was saying he's going down there to, sow some wild oats. I should let him go down there and have a good time. So to me, it was the concept. I was trying to understand why Zeus would say no, because he did the same thing, because
Mhm.
that's where his son came from, a frolic, what I'm saying? So
Fro- Zeus
yeah,
frolicked a lot.
yeah, but why he would think his son shouldn't go? Okay, I don't. That was hard for me to accept, for it. But at the very ending, I loved the ending. That was my very favorite part of the whole movie. After everything that happened and everybody bickering and arguing and trying to take his powers away and give them back, and all this different stuff, the underhanding, uh, you know, twists with a knife, all the stuff that they were doing to each other behind Zeus's back, it was what I liked. That's why I said I love the Olympus stuff the most, because that's where all the intrigue and the backstabbing and stuff was going on. And then when you got back to New York, it was Arnold trying to figure out how to maneuver through real people, and that they look at you and they judge you. It's way different because the whole time he was Zeus's son, and that's how he looked at everything. So he felt like no matter what I do, and even though he was cordial and nice to people, he wasn't like an asshole shoving people out of the way and, being a dweeb. But he just felt like, I can do whatever I want. I'm Zeus's son. He had that big head, you know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I liked it. I thought he did a really good job of portraying that character. So I think he did a really good job considering he was only 22 and it was his first movie he'd ever been in for the part that he played. I thought he did good. I have no complaints with what Arnold's parts were. If that makes any sense to you.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I
Um,
thought he was great.
I I I would have a blast if they would if there would be a remake of this film, and I'm sure there have been. I'm sure there's plenty of films where there's Greek gods walking around in modern day. In the 1980s, for fantasy movies, we had Beastmaster 2, The Dungeon Master, a whole host
Mhm.
of other really bad fantasy movies where a portal would open in the first act and the people would
Yeah.
tumble out of their magic world. And then they'd spend the
Mhm.
next 20 minutes. What are these miserable metal chariots? What are these people wearing? Look at this. That's the entire 80s fantasy genre that a lot of you don't want to acknowledge. And I will
Mhm.
be happy to acknowledge because I love bad movies.
Yeah.
This movie made me happy on a lot of formats and a lot of ways, and it felt like I was getting a chance to be 12 years old watching it again. I
It
I
was a
felt like
fun movie. Mhm.
it's very fun. This is not a movie you watch when you're in the mood for Macbeth. This is a movie you watch when you want to devour popcorn and just have a great time. I love this movie. And I know that sounds crazy. I shouldn't be chiming that so hard, but this is a guilty pleasure film.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some of you are like, well, shit, he's going to rate this double or triple what he rated G.I. Jane. Like, hell yeah, I am. This movie completely exceeded my
I'm
expectations.
not.
I thought it was garbage. You know, I thought this movie's garbage. I saw it on IMDb and they were right, or I saw it on Rotten Tomatoes and it's only 1 point lower than The Acolyte, and I'm like, no, this movie doesn't deserve that. This movie deserves to be treasured. This is a great film because this is a movie that you need to see if you love Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he is such a developed and well placed actor now with a good agent and a good crew of people around him who've turned him into what he is today. But in order to really appreciate Schwarzenegger and his heights from Total Recall and Predator to this downfall and aftermath, you have to watch movies like Pumping Iron, and you have to discover Hercules in New York, because you have to see that he's just like every one of the rest of us. This is a movie of a first-time, soon-to-be Hollywood lead that if you didn't know his story, you didn't think, you didn't appreciate it. And you don't appreciate, you don't deserve watching Conan the Barbarian, Total Recall, Predator, if all you're watching is those 3 movies or his peaks of 80s enjoyment, but you've never watched his 1969 film Hercules in New York. You're doing yourself a disservice, because you got to see him when he wasn't that good of an actor. And this kind of gives you an idea of where he built from. He was already a progress, an act in progress, because he was trying to be a bodybuilder, and he accomplished a lot in his time. T-Virus Terrence hits it. He has so many good movies; it's insane. He accomplished so much on and off screen, and when people try to tell him otherwise, he wouldn't make a film. There's plenty of movies he's rejected, but this is the movie that he got his foot in the door with, and this is the movie that he probably wants to get rid of.
Well, the thing is that he has the name Arnold Strong on it. Okay. Yes. And it's a reason that is very odd, is what I'm reading right now. It says the movie remains somewhat infamous down to the modern day. Okay. It was his only leading role in a movie until Conan the Barbarian. Okay. Now, Conan is the movie that made him a star. Because that's the first time I ever heard of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I never heard of him before that, because I wasn't in the, I wasn't old enough to be hanging out at people doing muscle building and all that stuff type of thing. Never even heard of anything like that. The only time I ever saw anything like that was when people did stuff on the Olympics, because my mother would watch the Olympics. We watched them every 4 years or whenever it was, when they were competing. And sometimes we'd watch competitions to get ready for the Olympics, that type of stuff, because my mom was really into that. But I lived in a home where we weren't allowed to just sit down and watch television unless we had permission. So, because I had 4 sisters, and we always said we fought over what we were going to, we had to, agree on, at least 3 of us had to agree on what we were going to watch, or we all bickered, and my mom would say, get out, you're not allowed to watch anything. So basically I would just watch, if I was interested, watch what my mom had on TV, basically, or my dad. And I was lucky, because my dad got me to watch a lot of things I liked, science fiction stuff. So I was lucky to have a dad that was interested in something I was interested in. But one of the scenes that bothered me was the fact they're walking down the road and they needed to chase that guy. And it just so happens the guy that has a hot dog cart, dressed like, a Roman or whatever it was, he looked like Tarzan or something, I thought, happens to have a 2-horse, what was that called again? Damn it. Can't remember.
Chariot.
Yeah, chariot, but it wasn't like a regular, thing that you'd see in New York, because they did have the horse and buggies, but it wasn't a chariot. But this one just happened to look like that. So the fact that he got to get up there and, ride that. I thought that was hilarious. That whole thing, it was just out of the blue. So that was that's why it fits as a comedy, because things just happened to be there when they needed it, that type of thing. So, it was funny, but there was a lot of, plot holes, huge plot holes here and there. But I expected that when I found out it was made on $300,000, so. But it wasn't bad. I've seen way worse. So
T-Bars is like, Bruce, every time I see Conan the Barbarian, I get buffer, easily pack on 10 pounds of muscle. Arnold had that impact on male viewers. Yeah, I can't remember going into a gymnasium after I turned 6 without seeing a pinup or the full body poster of Schwarzenegger on the wall. He was such a huge figure in the athletic world, and everybody wanted to be like him. After the Terminator came out, he skyrocketed on his popularity. But you have to see this movie, because this is him at a 22-year-old kid, and he's not lean at all. He's got a lot of mass on him, and he just looks massive. It's great.
Yeah.
It's absolutely great.
Yeah, he's a huge guy, and he wasn't in Conan for 13 years. So he wasn't in another movie for 13 years. So I guess that whole time he was going to acting classes and other things like that to try to boost his chances of getting to be in a movie. So
T-Bars, you're good, sir. You don't have to apologize for not being around. I know that YouTube got rid of you. I found you through our friends on Twitter, though. They pointed me out to where you were at again, which I was happy.
Oh, he got hacked off too? A lot of people are getting...
He's lost his channel at least once, maybe 2 times. And it's really sad, because he gets thousands of subscribers. He gets hundreds of views when he puts something out. He's got good reviews. If you like anything DC, anybody out there, I'll get his YouTube channel in the chat. Hopefully this doesn't put the eye of Sauron on him. But he would be somebody to talk to if you have discussions with DC anything, because he's fun to talk to. He's got a lot of opinions on some of the Arrowverse stuff.
Yeah, well, I know I've been I've been targeted. I mean, like my Friday Night Shit Show, they took it down right away, right after it went live. After I was live, I had to edit out some things, but that's just the way it is.
For those of you wanting to know about modern media and comics from the Silver Age and from their point on, this is your click. This is who you want to get to know. He's got a lot of good opinions on things. Gets pretty hateful on interlopers from YouTube trying to, jam up his channel and not let it grow. Man's got 23,000 subscribers right now. And
wow, that's great.
It's great. Yeah. He does really good. And there's a reason for that. He's a good host. He's a good presenter. Thank you, sir, for showing us for being here today with us.
Yeah. we're little.
Yeah, we're tiny people. We're nobody.
But we have fun.
Go ahead,
we have a good time. We have fun.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, this is the thing, 23,000 people, and ScrewTube's treating him like that. It's, what do I gotta say that won't pass for flowers? Yeah, exactly. He's lost 8 different channels since 2012. Terrence always comes back. The humans will not stop me indefinitely. 8 channels, and gets right back up, goes back at it. Amazing.
He's determined.
Yes, that is one thing.
You got to have tenacity to stay on YouTube.
Yeah, that's something that makes me happy about him too, because he's always going to be back there in their face, shouting down the things have screwed up. They have a bad show. He's gonna talk about it, and he's going to discuss,
Mhm.
camera or lighting or where things really screwed up. That's just T-Virus. That's what he does. He just get used to that. He's they can ban him, they can boot his channel, but he will be back. And when he comes back, he'll probably be larger. I don't know
Yeah.
how. He's just one of those amazing people that does that. Janet,
Yeah.
actually, people in the chat, if you guys want to rate this movie, Hercules in New York, I would love to have Janet read out the scores that you have.
Yeah.
I
I've
think
already written I haven't written it in the chat yet, but I already have my score.
you do.
Hmm.
What do you rate today's movie?
I rated a 5.5.
That for you, for this, I'm impressed.
Really? Well,
I
I can't take off of the script because I think the story is a believable story. Now, whether the people acted the characters very well, that's different. That's acting. The score was terrible. That's another reason why I gave it a little bit lower score, because I just hated the score. I thought it was just that was the worst part of the movie to me. Even worse than the acting, even worse than the honking in the background of Olympus. All that the little things like that. Technical problems that they had. Uh, um, and I don't blame any of that on the budget, because even when you just like that movie, what was it, Darkness Gamers Rising, it had a no budget basically, and it was very well done. I mean, they did the best they could with what they had, and you could tell by looking at the costumes and things like that, like the dyed purple long john outfit and stuff like that. That shows that these people loved what they were doing, and they wanted to make it a success. And to me, when they do that type of thing, it tells me that they mean business. And to me, the most expensive two scenes in this movie were the airplane scenes. I think the way that they had to do the them strings that they had to fly on to make it look like they were flying in midair outside the window of the plane. And I just thought that was those were funny. Those were really funny, good scenes, and that probably cost the bit of the chunk of that money that they needed, because that was on a set. That's totally different when you're doing a set than just setting something up outside and doing it like they did with the throne for Olympus. So the technical stuff that goes along with that. So I couldn't give it, a 3 or anything. I think the 3.3 that they rated on IMDb was pretty low, considering some of the really crap I've seen on there that's rated higher than that. So, I don't agree with them. So
I just
definitely
recently bought a Ouija Shark, which apparently is a movie that I didn't buy the version of it that was seen in the few theaters it was in, but I got a
Yeah.
Ouija Shark from rifftracks.com so I could watch it with good commentary, because Rifftracks people are good people and I like what they put out. So I think that's important to notate. But I must say Ouija Shark deserves the 1.9 it has on IMDb. This movie does not deserve the 3.3 it has on IMDb.
No, I don't think so.
T-Virus has a rating up already. Go ahead and read that for us, Janet.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Trying to find out where it is. At the very there it is. I'd give a 6 out of 10, which is a D by my rating. However, Arnold had tons of potential. The rest is history. And yes, that's what I saw. For a young man that was 22 years old and never been in a movie, it did be in a lead part, which is what this was for him. I thought he did a very good job, especially on a $300,000 budget.
Yeah,
So he wasn't doing it to make a lot of money, for sure. He just wanted to do it because he really wanted to be an actor. And you could tell he worked really hard at it. Yes, they came in original. I'm sure all long johns are white, aren't they? I've never seen them any other color.
Yeah.
Except they do make them camo now for hunters.
Yep.
So they're way more expensive.
I like this question. Where does one quite acquire purple long johns?
I know. I said you have to dye them.
And then this is a good response. If you look at the classic follow up to his review, if you look at
Mhm.
classic monster movies from Universal, they had a low budget, but the
Yeah.
quality of these films is off the charts. The actors, direction, and storytelling was compelling.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Uh,
Yeah, this script was good. This was a good script. If you paid attention to what they were doing and why they were doing it for all the different characters and their interactions, I thought the script was good. It wasn't not a bad script.
yeah.
And the editing was pretty good considering this was a a very cheap film. I thought the editing, I didn't really see anything that I could connect as an editing problem. Did you see anything that you thought was editing
The only thing
besides
I
the
didn't
music?
like, just the conversations where the editing, it wasn't an editing issue, but they filmed the conversations from different angles. They could have
Yeah,
done
I
one
didn't like
continuous
that.
take,
Mhm.
but that was the 70s. A lot of 70s actors and directors did that, where they would just film one guy talking, cut, reposition camera, you speak your lines, go, cut, all right, reposition camera. And they did
Yeah.
that over and over and over again. Six Nations has another review for us here.
Oh, 65% out of 100. That's pretty good. Um, Shalak Gold, as stated before, good script, excellent cast, soundtrack is fire. What? You liked it?
I
I'm
did.
shocked because
I
I
was.
just thought it was horrible. But good beer and pretzel fun and with friends and fam. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Just sitting without even if the movie was even worse, just getting to hear you guys laugh and Bruce laughing, belly laughing at some of the parts. To me, that made the movie even better because when you get to sit with a group of friends that you like, you love their company, you like to see them happy and to get to hear you guys laughing and stuff. I thought was great. That made the movie even better for me. I enjoyed it more. But I was really worried when that music first started, when the first credits were going, I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this movie. But it was good. It got better, yes, for sure. I
Yeah,
didn't like the music.
they played a lot of that theme. That every time a car horn honked in New York, they would play the theme song from this movie, and it would last
Yeah.
for 2 minutes.
And the bird chirping sound effects they had got louder and louder every time they had to go to Olympus. So I felt bad for them, but they did the best they could. So, but I don't blame it on I don't blame it on. I didn't get mad about the honking because there wasn't really anything you can do. If anyone that has been to a big city like that and you're trying to film a student film, you're gonna have honking even because it's miles. You can hear it for miles. So much you can do about it.
Yeah, this movie does remind you of a porn parody, but with the lack of the
Yes,
sex
for
or
sure.
porn.
Hmm.
I I liked it. I completely felt like
Hmm.
there could have been some hanky panky, some stuff going on. I mean, you have Zeus and all those pretty ladies. I mean, what's going to
Yeah.
happen, right? And,
Yeah,
and
they've made quite a few porns, I think,
mhm.
using Zeus and the gods and things like that. So I think they've made a porn with everything. There isn't a single thing, topic, or whatever that they haven't made a porn for, I don't think.
It's called Rule 34, Janet. Rule 34 is if it's popular, there will be porn about it.
Yeah, I
And
guess. I've only seen two porns in my whole life. So, I don't have much to judge it to.
I don't think porn is necessary for a healthy society. I think in fact the opposite. I prefer a pornless society myself, but people are going to do what they do, and that's fine. If you want to watch that, that's okay. Now I have my own variety of kink. I think everybody does, but I think
Hmm.
it's everybody has their own thing they want to watch or get involved. And that's it. Screen Rant's did a good honest trailer for Godzilla minus one. Godzilla minus one is the best movie that has like less than a
Hmm.
$20 million budget in the last 15 years, easy. And we all know Zeus was getting down up there, yes. And then later we had Caligula, Greek gods, but Romans, close enough. Are we confusing loincloths for pajamas? I have not started my Steve Reeves review collection yet, Mr. Warrior. I can't wait for the Steve Reeves review collection to start, though. I rate this movie a 70% out of 100 because of laughter I had watching it, the fact I know I'm going to watch it again with my dad.
Yeah.
If as long as my dad stays healthy, I'll watch it again with him. Not a problem. This is definitely a movie you watch with your dad because it's kind of one of those films where you're not going to agree to watch it, but it's going to come on, and when it's over, you're like, well, that wasn't bad, you know. I mean, is it campy? Absolutely, but is it
Yes.
fun? Oh, even more fun than campy. And I think this is a great movie. By the way, everyone in the chat that's a papa today, happy Father's Day. And for those
Oh,
of you that
that's
are not
right. That's
fathers
right.
yet,
It is Father's Day.
for those of you that aren't fathers yet, it's all right. There's still time. Things can happen. Miracles can happen. Um, for those of you out there that know my story, you understand there's some interesting things there. But this movie, I did not expect for this to be done on Father's Day. I wanted to do Secondhand Lions this year, like I wanted to do it last year for Father's Day, but we didn't.
Mhm.
And shame on me. At some point, I will do Secondhand Lions for Father's Day because that is such a good Father's Day film. Um, for people that
Yeah,
tuned
I
in
really
last,
liked Secondhand Lions. That's a good
yeah,
movie.
that's a great movie.
I mean, there's
This
so many good movies. I mean, I every time we do a show, I think of like 5 or 6 like Grumpy Old Men, just tons of good movies out there that we could do reviews on.
we could do reviews on damn near everything, and we'll never run out of content.
I don't think so.
Um, Bruce, do you know what's funny? The adult parody of Captain Marvel is better and more comic accurate than the actual movie. Okay, first
I
off,
haven't seen
Kinsey
it.
Taylor is an amazing little actress, and she's not quote unquote little, but she's really good for what she does, and she's got no problems being a actress in the adult porn industry. She's really good. She does things with her husband in a lot of these films. Uh, he's sometimes a director. I like the new Captain Marvel film that they did. That was actually
I never heard of it.
oh, Kinsey Taylor made the best Carol Danvers that will ever be on film. And the bad thing is that it's a porn,
Did
but
it have other Marvel characters in it?
she fucks a lot of them. Deadpool and her, you know,
Deadpool was in it?
yes, and it's
I guess I'm gonna
completely
have to rent that one because I love
you
Deadpool.
should watch the Captain Marvel adult film. It's a really good movie, and it's the best Captain Marvel you'll ever
Gonna make
watch.
me laugh a lot.
You're gonna laugh. You're gonna have. It's like, oh my god, they're filming this. There's people in the room and they're filming this, and that does happen a little bit. But
Or should you
for
watch
me,
it with someone else, or should you watch it by yourself? Is it one of those movies?
listen, you do what you want to do and decide for yourself if it's with people or with
Well,
yourself.
how am I gonna know? That's why I'm asking your advice.
I would recommend.
You have someone to watch movies with, so.
I would, yeah, but you won't watch that with me. I had to watch it by myself.
Oh,
So
okay. So you
that,
recommend watching it alone.
I recommend watching it alone. But if you have someone in your life that likes to watch porn, watch that movie, and you'll like he just said.
Deadpool was on Crazy Stroke Game. What's that mean? I wonder.
You have to watch.
I love Deadpool and Wolverine. Was Wolverine in it with his claws out?
Uh,
Now, see, I could do
no.
that. I could do role playing in costumes. I would never run out of ideas. I think I'd enjoy that.
Okay, dads and moms, get your kids out of the room. Janet, I'm not going to give you the spoilers for who appears in this movie with Kinsey Taylor, but I'm going to tell
Okay.
you that
I can look up the trailer. Do they make trailers for porns? I mean, I don't know.
Sometimes, yes. I believe this movie has a trailer to it. I found out about it because Lethal Lightning had Kinsey Taylor on his stream, and they talked at length about this movie, and it was really a good stream to watch. One of Lethal's best live streams he's ever had, and I appreciate Lethal Lightning. I like what he does. I'm not a big fan of I'm not a big fan of all the things he does, like the game streams, but
Okay.
yeah, there's that.
There you
There's
go.
that.
Okay. I get it now. Well, see, it's been a long time. I
I'm
mean,
not going to tell her the
I
spoilers. If
was
you
like
want to tell her the
18
spoilers,
years
then
old the
yeah,
last time I saw porn. So it was a long
if
time ago.
if you watch the adult Captain Marvel film, you'll come away from it happier than you did with at least half of the fucking Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. Because
Well, I didn't watch Captain Marvel. I didn't see the movie. I just
no,
heard
I
other
didn't
people
either.
talking about
I didn't
different
need to.
scenes, and I was like, I ain't gonna watch it. If they did that to him, he got scratched in the eye by a cat. Fuck him. I ain't watching that movie. It just pissed me off. Everything they said, I just got madder and madder. So I said, I'm not watching that movie. I'm just not gonna watch it.
I think you should watch the Captain Marvel film that's for adults because it's actually an enjoyable Marvel movie. And I actually think that it's the Marvel movie that Disney would rather make. And
Oh,
if they could get away with just having that film under their Disney banner and sell you that in the jewel case with the other 25 or 30 Marvel films, I think they would rather do that. They'd take out the official one with the girl with no ass and put this movie in with the girl with the ass.
oh, that's a lot. I heard that a lot from a lot of people that said, yeah, the costume looked like shit.
It,
But if it'd been one of those foot ones, she has some massive feet. That's what I was told too.
this movie, she does not have, Kinsey does not have massive feet.
No,
She has,
not her.
she has
The
nice.
other actress.
I don't pay attention to feet typically, but
Oh,
this
okay.
lady looks she's proportionate. The way a woman and her womanliness should be proportionate. She's proportionate. What I mean by that is she's not super voluptuous. She's not going to be Instagram thick. She's about right. And I mean, she's pretty. She's already pretty and she's funny. So they got a good actress to play her. And actually she's more tolerable than the comic version of
Mhm.
of Captain Marvel. Yeah. And yeah, don't go into that more detail. I don't care if I get my channel nuked. I've got Rumble, I've got X.
Well,
I haven't
my
used
channel
Rumble
can't get
much.
nuked because I don't have any. I'm not making any money yet,
They can
so
still tear you
I'm not
down.
monetized.
They can still tear us down, and that's fine if they
Not on
want to.
X. He can say he can do all that stuff on X. He needs to set it up and to go live on X too. You'll triple your amount of people.
I've got to hold on just a moment.
Virus.
Somebody's asked me what Instagram thick is. So
He likes you're gonna show him another one of your videos of the girls riding horses. That's your
I
Instagram
actually
thing, isn't it?
I'll do that. That works out a lot better.
Yeah, because I'm saying you like them with the, you know, if you ain't got buns, you ain't got none, honey. You're one of them guys. You know, you like the juicy thickness of a nice tushy, a lot of cushion, right?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to bring out the cowgirls. You guys want to see what Bruce?
I've had to throw a lot of my underwear away. I've lost so much weight. You know, I'm losing my butt. That's what he's talking about right there. See how she fills that saddle up?
Yeah, a lot of girls fill up a saddle. You just if you
Well,
went horse riding more often, you'd fill up a saddle too. Because it makes.
I ride as much as I can, believe me.
How many times have you ridden in the last month?
I haven't rode this month, but last month
Okay.
I went. Yes, I try to go at least once a month if I can for a trail ride, though, not just, you know, walking around a little bit.
Well, that's what these people are doing. They're doing a trail ride in their little town. This
I
happens
love
all
trail
the time on
riding.
my channel. Whenever I do
So relaxing.
we do a game stream, and I'm running
Hmm.
a game, and it's like 4 hours into the game, and I'm like, okay, guys. Well, typically people would quit by now, but we're only halfway through. I have to use the restroom, and so I throw this on as the intermission.
And they
Because
have it in slow motion for the jiggle.
yeah,
It's
like
hilarious.
who doesn't like that? I love that.
Yes,
That's
I know. We're good friends. I know, believe me.
Janet.
I think it's
Janet,
adorable. I don't have a real brother, so you're my closest I ever have to a brother.
Janet, and while we treat each other like siblings on some things, my wife, if like Janet ever said something like, I think I'm going to go completely lesbian, my wife would slice my throat and make her way into freaking Arkansas. I'm hunting
Oh, it's so sweet
entertainment.
for you to say that.
She's the one for me. She's beautiful. My wife thinks that, I
She's so
think that
sweet.
too, but no, she's the one that
And
pointed me
she
out
can cook
to.
too, right?
She cooks really well. If you
Good.
have the spaghetti, you'll get your ass back.
Hmm.
You'll you'll
Oh,
you'll
yeah, I can
you'll
believe
pack
that.
you'll pack on even if she does gluten-free noodles, but
Mhm.
you'll pack on pounds because my wife makes a hell of a spaghetti sauce.
Now, see, that was a real slender one,
There are
girl.
some slender girls in Colombia.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Well, they're
welcome.
not starving there, at least. It looks like they're all well fed. They take great care of their horses,
No, they're
too.
not. They're not starving. Their horses are well fed. They got the horses prancing the way they should. People look like they're,
Do you know how they do that?
how?
They put chains around their ankles, and
Ah,
it causes they have to walk just the right way so that your chain doesn't wrap around the other leg when they're trying to walk. So they prance that way to make sure that chain does not go sideways. It goes straight up and down. That's what trains them to do that. My grandpa showed me that. He used to do a
okay.
lot of stuff with horses.
She's got her horse drifting there. Sorry, I know it's not drifting.
Beautiful.
This is
Yeah, they're
there's some
gorgeous. I
great
love
horse.
horses.
Their animal handlers of Colombia are great. And for those of you who want to know, this is the Traveliando channel. I'll get the link
Yeah,
for
it's
that
up in the
here.
corner. You
Yep.
can see it up in the corner.
Yep. They
Yeah,
do.
I'm sure he has this as a screensaver.
It's a playlist. It runs 24
Yeah,
7.
that's what I'm saying. Comes on as soon as the computer slows down. Oh, I love her hair. I love her ponytail. It's really pretty.
Janet, if you want to make your demographic happy, and you know who your subscribers are,
Ride a
what you
horse?
should do, you should ride a horse. I'll get a Samsung phone, and I will photograph and videotape you in slow motion as you jiggle on, and we will put that up on your channel, and you will make a lot of thirsty men very happy,
Oh, I
and
don't know. I have
ladies
to
too.
think about it.
I don't want to exclude my wife from that thirsty bunch because she sees Janet dressed up as anything. She could see you in a bathrobe with curlers in her hair, and she's talking. Janet's in the
Well, I
bathroom.
have a couple wigs that have rollers in their hair and stuff. I haven't been able to wear them yet for parts. If I ever get to do something, we pick something out I need it for.
You're good, my friend. You we're not too detailed. Yeah. Do you like sugary cereal?
Yeah, Bruce has gone on a few rants during our games, or it just depends on what we're talking about, what comes up. So Bruce is just himself. He said you need the Hercules in New York soundtrack playing with this. Oh my God, that would be terrible.
Let me get that. That's
You can't play the music, you get a strike.
I'm not going to monetize the stream.
Okay.
I've stopped trying to monetize because they keep
But you
giving me
don't get a
the
copyright anyways if you don't monetize. I'm not monetized, and they give me copyrights all the time.
There we go. It almost fits better with this than it does with Hercules in New York. Okay, that's enough of that. This movie doesn't have a
Crafting Gamer. I am been looking at it, trying to figure out what pieces I would need to make because I have a lot of costumes already. I just try to make, pieces to go with it if I can to save money. Like I got lots of bodysuits and stuff. Full length bodysuits. So
you could wear those
flesh
more often.
tone bodysuits. I have those sleeves with tattoos on them. I've got tons of stuff. I just have to dig around and figure that. Because he sent me a figurine. So.
That makes me happy. We were talking about this last night. I don't know if you were up and watching it. at that
Mm.
point
No,
because
I
crafting
wasn't.
games.
I was asleep. I wanted to, but I just couldn't stay awake. I was so tired.
See, the girls from the Sisters of Battle remind me a lot of the 1985 calendar that was in my uncle's bedroom in that year.
Mm-hmm.
And a quick search, I could find out who this lady actually is. But she, this was something that a lot of us saw as a young man, and I think the hairstyle fits pretty perfectly for Sisters of Battle, and yeah, the rest of the outfit goes good too. But this is what I grew up with, looking at since I was 10.
Oh
My
yeah,
dad
I've
had
seen
a
that one.
huge crush on this girl. But back to the horses. Um, there's a lot of things to really enjoy about the Sisters of Battle, and I can't wait for you to dress up as a Sister of Battle. I don't know how we're gonna do it. We'll have to like do some sort of tabletop gaming or something. Imagine that,
Or
right?
we can just do a night where we talk about, certain things that are, characters and things like that. We just talk about them. Do a stream about different characters and characters that we like and why we like them, what we don't like about some characters, stuff like that. We could do that.
That'd be great.
That would work.
That would make some content.
Mhm.
Here's what Janet likes, and all of a sudden, here comes all the roses, and here comes all the men wanting to talk to Janet. Hi,
Well,
I'm
I
from
mean,
India.
I've got thigh-high boots, purple ones. I've got all different kinds of stuff that I've never gotten to wear yet because we haven't done anything to where I feel like it's appropriate. Plus, you don't never see my legs. You just see, the upper side of me. You've seen them a few times because you see me walking around and stuff, but not everybody gets to see that.
Yeah.
You're the lucky guy.
I'm wondering.
You and a few of the other guys that we game with and stuff.
Yeah. We'll have to get Janet some leather pants, I think.
Hey, I have the whole outfit that Neo, his girlfriend wore. I made my whole outfit for that, for Trinity, the jacket and stuff. I've worn a couple of my little videos. The one where I'm saying, I said, you can lose 93 or 98 calories per minute from kissing. And I'm like, do you want to go work out? That kind of stuff. So
93
in
calories.
my shorts.
Kissing. What type of athletic kissing is that? Because I might actually push that one to the test here.
Heavy petting, kissing, that kind.
Okay. Because like that would be 93 calories a minute. We could within a half hour you burn a day's intake. Do you understand it? Within a half hour.
That's why when you're really young and you're active, in the bedroom Olympics, you're in pretty good shape. It doesn't take a lot of work and you have a lot of fun doing it. You just got to stay hydrated, but maybe a few bruises here and there, whatever, but you'll be in better shape. It's when you start sitting and not doing as much is when you start getting, the baggage that we don't want.
Yeah, I was checking myself out yesterday and I'm like, man, I have a horrible side profile. Look like my dad's body with my face on it. Ew.
We all turn into our parents. I hate to say that, but we do. It's just that the girls hope they look like their mothers and not like their dads, with the beard and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Crafting Gamer sent me a photo of the young Sister of Battle that he sent you.
Yeah.
Pretty
hot.
Yes,
she's really pretty. Very pretty. He did a good job too.
He's a very accomplished painter. He really is.
It's beautiful.
I hope he continues doing this. I hope he continues the hobby the way he has.
He will. Well, unless he becomes very famous once his game is finished. You never know.
That'd be just a terrible shame if if he completely broke, his bank and had to get another
People are
bank.
starving for fun things to do, and I think I want you and him and Kai to get your shit together and get finished with your what you've been working on for a long time.
Janet, I've been
And
writing.
I think all three of you guys are going to be. Who knows what's going to happen? But I think you guys are going to be successful with it.
I've been writing that game for the past 10 years, off and on.
But now you're taking steps towards it. See, there's a difference.
Yeah, now I'm
actually working on it.
You.
Yeah. See?
Guys, I have to turn off this little sharing bit here, but we can come back to it at a later point. I'll just pause it right there. Okay. They're preparing barbecue. Yes, they are. They're getting barbecue ready. And Crafting Gamer says, but it's a picture on Discord, so you can show off this for everybody who has not seen it yet. Yeah, the idea behind what he's done is he gave her a figurine, this one here. And that way she has an idea of what to cosplay for.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of layers of clothing. And I've been looking. It's the pieces. See that thing on her wrists and the knee deals? See, that would all have to be handmade. I'd probably make it with paper mache. See, stuff like that. Now, I made my own boots for my Star Wars or Star Trek uniform, the black ones that go right below my knee. I made those myself. He took some old shoes and, made a whole new top and stuff for them. But I would have to put something on the front of it, see, to make it look as close to that costume as possible. That's, I can help. I already have a wig almost identical to that one. So I'd be excited to wear it. And then the eye gear I'd have to make.
I'm looking forward to this.
I have my sword already up there on the wall. I remember I showed you a few times.
Go ahead and show us the sword.
Well, okay. Let me, I'm going to stand up. So hold
on.
Hey, I've got spotty underwear on, like little spots on it. They're not white, and I'm wearing a see-through outfit. So, okay, hold on. I'm going to turn this on so you can see it. See? And it's heavy. This is my sword.
That is a very nice blade.
It's beautiful. It's really heavy. It's a real sword. So, and I have it hanging on the wall. I had it at my dad's in the garage, but once I started getting to play a real game, I'm going to get it, go take it home and hang it above my desk. So, but see, you can see through this.
Yeah.
So
we're not complaining.
I have white underwear, but little black polka dots on it. So I'm not gonna. I don't want you to see my panties.
Oh, sorry guys. I tried.
That's really heavy. So I had to be very careful. I had to screw the screws in and everything so that it would hold it on the wall. Hey, there's tons of women out there. You go to OnlyFans, you can get all the ass you want.
We know. It's just Janet.
I don't have OnlyFans.
She's like a geek angel that fell to earth.
Well, I am a nerd. I love. If you guys, I've put lots of pictures on my stuff on my web pages, so. I got a lot of stuff.
I'm just saying the one time I asked, like, you got to wear that more often. You sure did, and I really appreciate you for it.
So if I can fit it into what we're doing, I try to do that.
No. It was when you were going to the gym and doing all your exercise videos, the baggy purple hoodies. Like, you just look adorable on that.
Well, thank you. I love it. It's getting hot now, though, because yesterday it was 90-something yesterday. And the humidity is like 88%. So it's like, I got you
know what we're doing next week, Janet?
I don't remember.
Really?
I forgot. I'd have to go look at your, I can go look real quick at your page.
It's The Godfather.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I thought that was like in a couple more weeks. But good. No. I like The Godfather. It's a great movie.
We're going to watch The Godfather next Sunday. And
the first one, right?
The first one from 72.
Okay.
The original.
Cool.
And
All
we're not
right.
going to watch the
I'm
Godfather
excited.
saga. As much as I love the Godfather saga more, it's longer
Mhm. Yeah.
and it adds in stuff that is originally in the books. So it's kind of like a director's cut. If Janet and I discuss things and we decide to try to find the Godfather saga instead, which that actually was a TBN or TBS exclusive movie where they combined the first and second movies together and they
Yeah.
added some extra deleted scenes. If I can find that and stream that instead, we'll do that. But if not, we'll just watch The Godfather. Godfather's fine. That's a fantastic movie. Everybody needs to see it. If you've not seen that movie yet, let me get my Discord up in the chat for you. But
Yeah, you guys, all of you in the chat, if you want to watch it with us and get our reaction while we're watching it or whatever, you can. You just have to join Bruce's Discord and get to watch it with us while we're watching it before the review. It's fun.
T-Virus Terrence, thank you, sir, for gracing us with your presence. We understand that you're one, you're a busy man. Two, you're successful. And the difference between a person who is successful and those who are not, people who are not successful have this 4-letter word they do a lot, and it's called quit.
Yeah.
You've never quit.
Mm-hmm.
Your physique that showcases your discipline. So you keep going and doing what you do. We'll be happy to follow along and give you encouragement, support, and make sure that you get through that finish line of wherever you're racing for. You're a hell of a man, sir. Thank you. Warrior, did you see the last name on my channel? That's all I ask.
I don't think you did. You just heard Bruce.
Yeah. Last name's Lombardo.
What's funny is when I tell people your channel name and I say Dick's Division, like, what is that supposed to mean? Every one of them.
Okay.
I said it's DIX. So
it's something that I thought it was funny, and I don't want to have a situation where, like, if things happen with Comics Division where his cadre of Dick's Division followers falls apart. I don't know if there's other Dick's Division YouTuber channels out there. I know a lot of us affiliate with it, but I want people. I think the Dick's Division. I think all of it with its irreverent humor and the servers of full of memes. I think that it should never die.
And if any of you men need to make yourself feel good about yourself, buy you some of these little hands, these Deadpool hands, and then everything looks bigger when you have little hands. So just remember that.
Are we wrapping this up?
I guess. I don't know. I thought you were.
I wasn't yet. I just wanted to.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Next week
I'm just trying to make sure I got that in before the end.
We can. This would be as good of a point.
I don't have anything to do.
Okay. We will wrap this up, and Janet and I are going to talk in the green room a little bit. And you guys, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. This has been a stream that I wasn't sure how this was going to go, because I know how I felt about this movie. I enjoy this film, and I've heard a lot about it. I've heard a lot of negative about it in my time, and I didn't think it deserved that. And I'll continue to defend this movie, even from the main lead actor who would go back in time and Ryan Reynolds himself to stop this film from being made. So
I can't wait till that movie comes out. God, I'm dying for it.
It's the only movie that's going to make any noise this year.
Oh,
I hope you understand that. That's the only movie. That's the only movie that's going to make any noise at the theaters this year, is the Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman film.
Did you feed your chickens? Yeah, I fed them this morning. But my coop door is not working. I bought solar panels in this little thing that it's supposed to bring it up and down when I put the time in, what time I want to open and close. It's not working. So I'm having to go out there and open and close it, which sucks because yesterday when I went out to close the thing, there was a deer in there, and I have to clap my hands and stuff from a distance because they have to run out. The one time I walked up there, it was jumping around in there, bent up my inside of my run. So it's just a pain. I've got to get that little door fixed because a deer can't fit in there. You know what I mean? It sucks. But that's what happens when you live in the country. You got lots of, there's coyotes and everything out here.
Varmints.
Yeah. That's why I got a 22 for the little varmints. No, it's not WD-40. It's something's wrong with the battery system, the way it's hooked up. I even bought a little car battery or a small, whatever those are called, a 12 volt or whatever. And the guy said at the place, AutoZone, that would work. And it's still not opening and closing. So I might have to order a new something for it to work. But it sucks because I'm not inclined to know how to make all that stuff myself. So, oh well. I wish it was just WD-40. I could do that.
Everyone, men, families, go celebrate Father's Day. Have yourselves a beautiful afternoon and into your evening. We will be looking forward to having a big discussion with you next week about the fantastic movie known as The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
good one.
There will be, if you want a homework assignment, find a copy of Mario Puzo's book and read it, or at least read the first half of it, because they're getting that with the first movie. Janet, thank you so much for being with me today.
You're welcome. It was fun. I have nothing else to do besides hang out with Bruce or eat.
Thank you, one and all, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.